All right. What up, Pig? Speaks up to you. Of course, I'm laughing because it's always a good time with my man Dylan Polk, founder of Carefree Louisiana, Chelsea in America. It's always a good time. Rod Groves believe in Chelsea FC. Dylan, how you feeling?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I didn't mean to make that rhyme, by the way. But anyway, we've look, Chelsea is hot, Dylan. I know we haven't lost since October to Newcastle in the Cup. I'm talking about, I got people asking me all kinds of questions, which we'll get to later, like if we're in a title race or not, but we're going to get to that later. For now, though, based on last year's performance, finishing sixth, and Man United and Man City just being hungover and not playing well, we're in the Conference League. And let me tell you, I've called it like games in the Walmart parking lot. I've bagged on the teams in places I've never heard of. But Dylan, it is fun. I'm watching these youngsters. I'm watching George, Achupong, Cassidy, a couple of debuts yesterday. How are you enjoying Conference League play?
Honestly, one of my main goals when we started this season, before we even knew what the team was going to look like, I said I think our goal would be to win the Conference League and to finish top four. And if anything happened, looks great. Now, fast forward since we've said that, undefeated in Conference League play, highest amount of goals scored in Conference League play. Mm-hmm. Our total of goals is already one more than the team that won it last year with Fiorentina. So it's pretty wild to see what we're doing. And all of this, meanwhile, without any big stars on the field. I mean, yesterday we had Kukure on the field, which was surprising. We had Christopher Nkuku, who could start just as well as anybody else.
Nani was up there on the right.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, we had some influential players in there, but at the end of the day, little Allmark Gui, however we're going to pronounce it, I'm not 100% sure, worked his ass off, hustled the entire time, and made those goals. He didn't.
Yeah, and I just want to talk about Mark Yu because you and I back in July talked about him. I saw him up in Santa Clara, and I was watching a couple preseason games. We seen this. I'm so happy for Mark Yu because we saw this in the preseason, the hustle, the anticipation, the pressing, and making these guys pay for going back to the goalie. He just wasn't finishing. To see him finishing in this tournament here, Conference League, whatnot, was amazing. So talk to me about what you saw in the preseason that we spoke about, our first conversation, and what you're seeing now with Mark Yu.
I mean, in preseason, we saw an energetic player that was just ready to hustle, just fighting for every ball, working just as hard off of it as he was on it. He didn't really look like a finished article in the summer, but he shouldn't. He's a kid. Sure. We're not expecting that. All I expected was a player who was going to go out there and hustle and try to make something happen. And yesterday was one of those days that it completely came to fruition. Everything that he was trying to do, he got done. I don't think anybody at the club should be anything but excited to have him right now. Do I think he's our top level and going to contend with Jackson? Not yet. No, because he's got room to grow. Maybe I think he might have earned himself a loan to another English Premier League club, maybe for next summer, which could just booster his chances for becoming more and more. He's 7 years from the prime time of what he's supposed to be from his career. So there's nothing but, I mean, his levels that he can get to, we don't even know what those are yet. So I'm happy to look forward to see what he's going to do with his career.
Absolutely. Now you mentioned Nguku, one of the guys playing. I mean, he's kind of a tweener, right? He's good enough to be on our A team. I don't like him as a striker because I like him playing where he was yesterday as a number 10. But guess what? We have a number 10, don't we? His name is Cole Palmer. But what we saw from Nguku is the epitome of what I think the type of player. He was playing a quarterback back there. You saw when he got the ball in the box, never panicking, never making a rush decision, ball at his feet, kicking it to the right, kicking to the left, setting guys up, almost goals, assists in that. I mean, I've talked. What do we do with Nguku? Because my fear is he knows he deserves to be on the first team and play often. That come summertime, he might be going elsewhere. What do you do with Nguku?
Well, the cool thing is we got a pretty good contract on the guy. So if somebody wanted to get him, they're going to have to pay top money for him. And luckily our team knows that. Mm-hmm. The good thing is the way we're headed, if we did happen to lose him, which I would hate, we might be in a better position to get somebody better in that role. I'm not saying that. I don't want anybody better. I don't want anybody else in there. I just hope we can give him enough minutes to keep him happy. And while most people complain about the congestion of the schedule during the holiday season, I mean, I think this is a prime time to, if he's hot, let him play against Everton. If not, let him play the next week or, the next game. This is that point in the season when we keep our players from overworking themselves and let others try. And I see no reason that unless the game is in a bad position to not let Christopher start one here and there. Like, I understand that Cole wants to play and he's a starter and he wants every minute, but at the same time, we can't burn out that engine.
Yeah, indeed. And in terms of speaking of burning out engines, this is something that Mudryk decided not to do in a conference league, which is he didn't have, like Nicholas and Cole Palmer on that roster through the group play. Now we're into round 16. At what point, Dylan, if ever, are you bringing in the big guns? Are you bringing in the regulars on the roster, bringing them up to play in this conference league?
Well, that's going to depend on what our draw ends up being once they have the playoffs. So we're finished with group play now, which means that those other 16 people are gone, or excuse me, 8 people are gone. We have the round of 16 playoffs, so I guess those 8 right there are going to have to duke it out, and we're going to see who we get. If we end up with one of those top 5, top 6 squads, like your Fiorentina, your Warsaw, your Rapid Wien, I think we would be silly not to put a significant player on midfield, defense, up top, have a good goalkeeper at backup. Bear in mind, our bench is incredibly thick that we can bring with us. We've got 5 opportunities as subs. We're not limited to that 3 situation that we were pre-COVID. The game's changed. So not putting some valuable starters in that lineup, or at least, in the squad, excuse me, it wouldn't be the smart thing to do. We have to go for the trophy. If we win this trophy, we're the only team who's won it all. Yes. And I'm not the only one who wants that.
Yeah, I agree. As much as, like I say, I have I have fun with it, with the names of the teams and the places and the trip, the team that took what was that? How long was that bus trip that the Iranian team took or whatnot? Like long bus trips, just to get there. Yeah, so as much as I mean,
the flight that our guys took from Kazakhstan was longer than a flight from New York to London. So
yes,
just
8 hours, 8 hours one way. That was 16 round trip. But as much as I make fun of this or this and that, I do want to be one of the teams that win all of them. That we can be the first, not one of them, be the first team. So at some point, Caicedo and them are going to have to come on, and it gives those guys experience at playing in a final or something. You know what I mean? Like some pressure. I don't care who you're playing. There's going to be pressure when you're playing for a trophy. Now, speaking of these rosters, there's someone that's been missing since November 24th, and of course, Mudryk is being banned for a banned substance. Now, Chelsea have indicated their support for Mudryk, who confirmed that he has never knowingly used banned substances, and not that we've ever heard that from an athlete before. But listen, Dylan, and of course, we're on with Dylan Polk, Believe in Chelsea FC, but Chelsea in America, one of the founders of Carefree Louisiana. Now, this isn't a court of law, Dylan, but it is a court of public opinion. If you're Chelsea, are you standing by Mudryk, or would you try and get out? What are you doing?
So I've got opinion that might not necessarily be loved by everyone. I like him. I think he's a good person. At least I've been given the opinion that he's a good person. I think he's tried really hard since we brought him in, but where most of the players that didn't have that successful first season or second season, we're seeing growth. We didn't see it out of Caicedo. Now he's the best midfielder, one of the best defensive midfielders in the world. We didn't see it out of Jackson the first season, and now he's arguably a top 3 striker in the league. Same can be said about a few other players that we've brought on. With Mudryk, 15 games, 3 goals. I don't know if that's what we should have been paying for $108 million, in my opinion. So, like, I looked it up, and I looked up this drug that he supposedly used, this melatonin, used by Russian and Ukrainian athletes. coincidence. I don't know.
Maria Sharapova being one of them.
Right. And it is used to boost your metabolism.
Mm-hmm.
So for someone who's in soccer, who's trying to gain weight, who's trying to be faster, bigger, better, it almost sounds like it's pretty possible that he could have done it. Now, I would hate to lose a player because of this, because we've seen it before with Adrian Mutu, fucking cokehead. But like in reality, if he's doing drugs, we got to cut him. So the good thing for us is it's the deal. We can recoup some of our loss on him if we have to. It's going to be a loss if he did it.
Oh, either way.
Me personally, the Chelsea can't have an opinion yet. They just have to hope that he's not a guy who's doing drugs and trying to cheat the system, because I feel like we're going to try to sell him, and if not, then we're going to have to break up his contract. So we're taking a $40 to $60 million loss, depending on how you want to amortize his contract, or he is trying to boost himself to get bought by somebody else. Do I think that we're going to make more off selling him next year than cutting the loss on where his contract is? I don't think so. I don't think we can get more than $25 million for that guy if we sold him right now. He's fast, but Usain Bolt's fast. How'd that work out for him in a soccer career? Me personally, I like him as a person. Do I see him starting for us, or even do I see him as a number 2 in any position right now? No. If I had my choice.
Yeah, unfortunately, I did a podcast the other day, and I was of a similar opinion. No one's knowingly taking anything. That's always the easy cover. And then there's a phrase I'll borrow from my NFL friends, and there's been players that come in like, he's a beast, Mudryk, in the gym, they say, and running a 100-yard dash. But there's guys, they say, trains like Tarzan, plays like Jane. And it's just, just one of those things. So he's a workout king. That's great, but I just don't see a football player, unfortunately.
I mean, we've seen glimpses. It's just not. It's not been enough.
Consistent enough, though. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And I read it. I was looking back to the potential and the upside this guy had in the opinion, not just by us. Arsenal, they say we got a coup. Like we got from up under Arsenal. They were big on him. So the potential was always there. But I wonder if that was just like when you're looking at FIFA ratings, looking at agility, speed, acceleration, and not as much of football. All right, Dylan, I mentioned this to start the show. This Chelsea team has not lost since freaking October. I had to look it up just to confirm. Like, damn, when's the last time we lost? I'm getting used to this. It's contagious. It's in my skin. But my Chelsea fans are mad at me. I'm not going to give you my answer, but I'm going to ask you, are Chelsea in a title race?
No.
Tell me why. I've said the same thing, and my Chelsea guys, they get on me. Look how many points. Well, they're not looking at the game in hand and this and that, but tell me why you don't think Chelsea are in a title race.
Defense, straight up defense. We let up too many goals. We let up silly goals. No reason we should have let up that goal yesterday versus Shamrock Rovers. It was silly. Players playing out of position. Mm-hmm. Just, I'm not happy. I'm not happy with our defense until we bring in somebody quality to work with Levi Colwell. And another natural leader in the team. I don't see it being a thing. Scoring goals is great, but you gotta keep them from scoring them too to win as many more games. And right now we're outscoring most of our opposition. And I mean that's great, but let's I don't see us as the finished unit right now. If we brought in keeper's another part of the conversation. Everybody's a little concerned with Sanchez, and they've got the reasons to. Man, I'd take that back up over at Liverpool real quick. If I had my opinion, Kellerman knows what he's doing. Do I think we're in a title? No. Am I happy to be where we're at? Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you and I were just like, we've been consistent in this, and we're keeping it real. I remember from our first conversation, all I want is top 4. You know what I mean? Just give me top 4. Let's crawl before we can walk. I agree with you in terms of defense. There are times you're just not going to score, but a team like Liverpool will make that game 0-0. There'll be a clean sheet. They're not going to give up a goal. We're not that. If we don't score, we're in trouble because we're just not going to get clean sheets. 2, I want a upgrade at center back to pair with Colwell as well. And I don't feel Jorgensen is the answer over Sanchez. I know Sanchez has his issues, but we don't have the goalkeeper on the roster right now to be a title contending team. Do we do that this January, or do we do that in the summer? That's another story. But I'm just happy to be where we are right now, a feared team that people fear. We're still the youngest team in the Premier League. And if we keep going the way it is, top 4, let's go. Then we go for the gusto. But no, this isn't a title race. And by the way, I think analytics, I don't know if you believe in those or not, they give us a 5.5 chance to win the Premier League. So
yeah, and then they're still giving better chances to 2 teams that are behind us because they know eventually we're going to drop some points. We're going to.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. Like it's just the way it is. We're going to end up having some players that are going to get injured. I don't like it, but it's going to happen. Like we've been as Chelsea fans, we've been bruised and battered for a couple years, and so people are like saying it's a joke that Chelsea fans don't want to say we're in a title race because none of us really believe what's going on right now.
Yeah, let's just appreciate what we got right now, Dylan. I'm just like, come on, man. Let's appreciate this. You know what I mean?
It's like a kid who did something. It's like a kid who did something wrong, just waiting for his punishment. It's like, when's it coming?
Exactly. All right, this is Dylan Polk from Chelsea in America, founder of Carefree Louisiana. And speaking of Louisiana, there's something I've got to get down to. I see it on the web. It's coming up. I see the good times. We've had the Chelsea and LA members good out there. We got 4 or 5 chapters. I don't know how many, but I'm going to let you talk about it. It's the 4th annual Blues Day, Dylan. Talk to me about this. What is going on with the Blues Day? Because it looks like a freaking bash.
So Blues Day is the culmination of an idea that I had with my chapter president from the New Orleans chapter, a guy named Roy Welsh, great friend of mine. We were trying to think of a way to get people to come down to New Orleans and watch a game with us because our club is rowdy and we're singing the whole time and we're just, everything that is the Chelsea culture. And we paired up the idea with doing Mardi Gras. So every year, early in the Mardi Gras season, in between January and February, depending on when the calendar falls, this year it's the weekend of February 21st to the 23rd. We are having the Blues Day event. And what that event is a weekend-long experience of New Orleans, Chelsea culture, Mardi Gras culture, debauchery, too much drinking. A lot of my guys like to refer to it as a marathon and a sprint because it's kind of nonstop. You can come to New Orleans and experience the Chelsea game with our group, eat some great food, stay at a great hotel in the French Quarter, or you can be listening to live music, experiencing Mardi Gras parades, finding and losing yourself in the wrong part of town. It's whatever you want to do. And we fill the weekend with enough activity where you can stay with us the whole time, or you can go out and explore. I want you to do both. I want you to have a good time when you come to New Orleans, eat too much food, drink too much beer, laugh too much, like do everything that New Orleans has to offer, because it's one of the few cities in America that still has its own identifiable culture, creativity, and spirit. Just like I said, the weekend, it's our itinerary and everything that we're doing that weekend is on our website, carefreelouisiana.com. You'll see a loose schedule and things will get tighter and more refined as the weekend builds up. We got some special guests coming in that are going to be doing some podcasts while we're there. The London is Blue guys are coming in to do a podcast.
Oh, beautiful.
We got our friends from Nashville coming in from the Chelsea Against the World podcast that are going to do a little thing. We're going to be auctioning off a signed Gianfranco Zola jersey. Proceeds going to American Cancer Society because that's who we've teamed up with what we're doing. We've got on our website, you can go to our store, and through our store, you can see how you can fund our event. It's called, like I said, it's called Blues Day, but we've got a GoFundMe. That money goes to fund the party. We're never going to charge anybody to come to Blues Day and get to experience it. But the more people help donate money to the cause, the bigger the event can be. And the cool thing is, for every $10 that you donate to the cause, you get a ticket for the Gianfranco Zola jersey. So you're
beautiful.
Yeah, man. So
how do you get it? So, all right. So I'm listening to this pod. I'm watching on YouTube. How can I be down? What's the easiest way to get in on the Blues Day, the 4th annual Blues Day?
Well, first off, go to our website, check it out, see if it interests you. There's a way that you can register for the event on the website. If you do it, you'll hear back from me. You'll hear back from me.
What's the website? Give the website title, please.
carefreelouisiana.com.
CarefreeLouisiana.com, guys. You got it there. And I've been in Louisiana or New Orleans, particularly a few times. Like you said, getting lost, exploring the different culture, the music, whatever you're into. Harris Casino, I spent time there. You know what I'm saying? Ruth Chris down the street from Harris, the steakhouse. Like, I mean, but I love Louisiana. So this sounds like a freaking ball. Different chapters. So if you're listening or you're just trying to get in, if you're in that area, and you want a fun-ass place just to watch even after this 4th annual Blues Day, make sure you check them out and get in touch. Dylan Polk from Carefree Louisiana, one of the founders, and Chelsea in America, one of the first groups that I got down with when I was Chelsea. Of course, I'm LA Chelsea Blues. We do our thing out here, but this is a bigger thing, and we're all together, all the chapters at once.
Yeah, and this event, yeah, we may be hosting it, but the way that it's morphing and going, I want this to be an event where every chapter in America, when you and I are having this conversation 10 years from now, where we can look back and say it was a thing that Carefree Louisiana was doing, but now every chapter in America is taking ownership of it, and it's become bigger and better. And that's my goal. I want it to become a thing that obviously every Chelsea fan wants to go watch the team play in Europe and over here when they play on tour. And those are amazing, and we experience it just as much as everyone. But when you're not doing that, what's the other big thing that you can do in America to go watch the event and experience something Chelsea related? We want that to be the next thing that you think about. It's going to England to see a game, going to see Chelsea on tour, Blues Day and Mardi Gras in New Orleans. We want that to be the thing that everybody's thinking about every year and how we can do that. This year is the first year that we added something called the Blues Day Council. We have members and founders and presidents from chapters all over the country, some in New York, some in Dallas, Texas, some in Florida, that are all help wrangling and like promoting the word and answering questions. And just like trying to help build this model. And it's kind of a ground floor thing that we're doing, but we're encouraging anybody and everybody who wants to participate, ask questions, get involved, take ownership. So like I said, 10 years from now, I may be the person who came up with the idea, but I have no idea what's going on because there's already 100 people that are involved that are taking ownership of this thing.
That's great. That's great. And this is one of the coolest things I've seen out here in the States for sure. We're bringing everyone together in different chapters, and I want to be a part of it. And in any way I can help, love to do it. CarefreeLouisiana.com. Check it out. Get involved. Like I say, you can even donate. Make sure y'all have a good GoFundMe page. Everything. It's all there for you.
We also have a store, so if you want to buy a Blues Day shirt, you can do it as well.
Ooh, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that so that when I do come down there, I'm just be geared out already. I'm gonna be dapped up with it. So that's Dylan Polk, my man, friend of the show. Appreciate having you on again. Let's finish this top 4. Let's get it done. And I didn't want to talk about it much. Reece James is training. Apparently, he's finally back, but we'll see how long that lasts. I don't want to jinx it, but Raj Groves, Bleed in Chelsea FC. As always, let's get it, Blues.